Alpha kids. They're saying this in this sing-song voice. What does it mean? Experts say nothing.
You wanna know what time I woke up this morning?
What time?
Around 6-7.
6-7!
6-7.
So recently your kid responded to "What do you want for dinner?" with 6-7 and those weird hand motions. You nodded, maybe smiled, pretended you understood. Here's the thing, nobody actually understands it. Not you, not me, not even the kids saying it, and that's exactly why Dictionary.com just named it their 2025 Word of the Year. Yeah, let me explain what's happening here. I'm your guide to the cultural moments that make you feel like you need a translator in your own house. And today we're breaking down something genuinely fascinating. How a meaningless number became the defining expression of 2025. What it reveals about the way Gen Alpha connects with each other.
What's 6 plus 7?
Oh, I know. Me.
Yes.
6-7?
And why understanding this actually matters. Because this isn't just random slang. This is a window into how an entire generation creates belonging through intentional absurdity. Here's what we're covering today. I'm going to walk you through where 6-7 came from and how it spread so fast. Then I'll explain the 3 reasons why it exploded into the cultural phenomenon it is now. And finally, I'll give you 4 practical conversation strategies you can use at home, whether you're a parent trying to understand or a kid wondering why this drives adults crazy. Let's start with the official definition. According to Dictionary.com, 6-7, and it's always pronounced 6-7, never 67, is, quote, a viral, ambiguous slang term, end quote. That's, quote, largely nonsensical, end quote. Some people will tell you it means so-so, or maybe this, maybe that, especially when paired with that hand gesture where both palms face up and move alternately up and down, like you're weighing 2 invisible options. But here's what you actually need to know. It doesn't mean anything. And that lack of meaning, that's not a bug, that's the entire point. Kids use it in response to questions. How tall are you? 6'7". What time is it? 6'7". What's 120 minus 53? Well, technically that actually is 67. But you get the idea. They shout it when a teacher says, turn to page 67.
67.
Did you just say?
When lunch is 6 to 7 minutes away. When they see a phone number with those digits. Or, and this is key, for absolutely no reason at all. So, where did this start? Like most Gen Alpha phenomena, it's got a surprisingly specific origin story. In December 2024, Philadelphia rapper Skrillex released a song called Doot Doot 6-7 featuring G Herbo. The song has this hook where 6-7 gets repeated, and nobody's entirely sure what it references.
6-7, I just bit right on the highway.
Maybe 67th Street in Philly, where Skrill is from. Maybe the police code 1067, which refers to a death. Maybe nothing specific at all. What happened next is pure internet magic. The song started getting used in TikTok and Instagram video edits, particularly edits of NBA player LaMelo Ball, who happens to be 6 feet 7 inches tall. Then in early 2025,
Well, I told you.
6'7". You 5'1".
Damn.
overtime elite player Taylen Kinney started using the phrase constantly in interviews. Like, constantly.
6'7", they come with something new every day.
What's that last off?
6'7", 9. Yeah, we got like 6'7", mate.
There's this viral clip of him ranking a Starbucks drink by just saying 6'7", and suddenly everyone was doing it. But the moment it truly exploded? March 2025. A kid named Maverick Trevelyan, now immortalized as the 6'7" kid, went up to a camera at a youth basketball game and just yelled 6'7" while doing that hand gesture with pure, unfiltered enthusiasm. That video went absolutely nuclear, and from there, it was over. The phrase escaped containment. So we've got a song, a tall basketball player, and one enthusiastic kid at a game. Why did this become the defining expression of 2025? I promised you 3 reasons, so here they are. First, the hand gesture. It's not just about the words, it's a full performance. The gesture is distinctive, easy to copy, and adds a physical element that makes it feel like a shared ritual. You're not just saying something, you're doing something. Second, it's perfectly portable. You can drop it into any conversation, any context, any moment. Teacher mentions the number 6 or 7, there's your opening. Friend asks a question you don't want to answer, 6-7. It's the Swiss Army knife of non-responses. Third, and this is the crucial one, it creates instant belonging. When you say 6-7 and someone else gets it and responds or laughs or joins in, you've just confirmed you're both in on the same joke. You both speak the same language. You're part of the same cultural moment. And for Gen Alpha, growing up in a world that often feels fragmented and isolating, that instant connection matters a lot. Let's talk about how big this actually got. Teachers across the country are reporting the same thing. They can't say the number 6 or 7 without at least 15 kids yelling the phrase in response. One 7th grade science teacher in South Dakota called it, quote, a plague, a virus that has taken over these kids' minds, end quote.
It is nonstop throughout my class, the hallways, the cafeterias.
She says she banned the term last year after it became distracting for students. But now she and other teachers are leaning in.
And we hope that if it is embarrassing enough for the adults to be doing it, that maybe they stop.
South Park dedicated an entire episode to it this season. The principal at South Park Elementary considers it a cult because of its constant use. When South Park is documenting your meme, you've officially entered the cultural zeitgeist. Professional athletes started using the hand gesture to celebrate touchdowns and baskets. The mobile game Clash Royale added a 6-7 emote after their Instagram hit 6.7 million followers. And the numbers back this up. Dictionary.com's analysis shows 6-7 appeared in digital media 6 times more frequently in October 2025 alone than it did throughout all of 2024. That's not gradual adoption, that's exponential spread. Which brings us to the big announcement. Dictionary.com named 6-7 their word of the year for 2025. Not artificial intelligence, not climate anxiety, not agentic. A number that means nothing. And their explanation is perfect. They called it, quote, a burst of energy that spreads and connects people long before anyone agrees on what it actually means, end quote. Now here's where it gets interesting. And if you're a Gen Alpha kid watching this because your parents sent it to you, this part is for both of you. 6-7 is what we call peak brain rot culture. Remember how we talked about brain rot, that term for content that's designed to be consumed but not thought about? Content that hits your dopamine receptors but leaves nothing behind? Well, 6-7 takes that concept and turns it into language itself. It's communication that intentionally communicates nothing. It's a phrase that exists purely because it exists. And that drives adults crazy, because adult communication is supposed to be functional. We ask, what do you want for dinner? Because we need an answer so we can make dinner. When the response is 6-7, the entire purpose of language breaks down. But here's what Gen Alpha understands that adults often miss. Not all communication is about transferring information. Sometimes it's about demonstrating that you're part of a group, that you get the joke, that you're fluent in the same cultural language. When your kid says 6-7, they're not trying to answer your question, they're participating in a collective moment of absurdity that feels to them like connection, like belonging, like being part of something bigger than just one conversation in your kitchen. And for adults, especially teachers who are trying to maintain classroom order, this is where understanding meets empathy. Because yes, it's disruptive when 15 kids yell 6-7 every time you mention page 67. But it's also meaningful to those kids in a way that's hard to articulate. The challenge is that both things can be true at once. Now let me give you those 4 practical strategies I promised. 2 for parents, 2 for kids. Parents, strategy 1. Recognize that this is harmless. Your kid isn't being disrespectful when they respond 6-7 to your questions. They're not trying to mock you or avoid communication. They're literally just participating in their generation's biggest inside joke. Strategy 2. The fact that Dictionary.com recognized this as word of the year means it's culturally significant. This is how Gen Alpha is shaping language, humor, and connection in 2025. That's actually worth paying attention to. Strategy 3. Teachers have figured out the hack. If you want to shut it down quickly, use it incorrectly on purpose. Say something like, that's so 6-7 of you, or I'm feeling really 6-7 today. Nothing kills a meme faster than adults using it wrong. But honestly, sometimes the better move is just acknowledging it and moving on. Yes, that is indeed the number 67. Anyway, as I was saying, takes 15 seconds, keeps your relationship intact. Strategy 4. And if you're the kid watching this, here's what your parents and teachers are struggling with. When you shout 6-7 in class, you're having fun with your friends. But your teacher is trying to manage 25 people learning algebra, and every interruption breaks that focus. It's not that they don't get the joke, it's that they're trying to do their job. At home, when your parent asks a genuine question and gets 6-7 as a response, they genuinely can't tell if you're joking or avoiding. And that creates a tiny moment of disconnect when what they really want is just to connect with you. The phrase is funny because it's absurd, but Absurdism in every conversation can feel like you're not interested in actual communication. And that's hard for adults who are trying to understand and stay connected to your world. Here's how to actually talk about this. Parents, try this. What's the most random moment someone dropped 6'7" today? This lets them share the humor without feeling judged. Or try this. Do you think it actually means anything, or is that kind of missing the point? This shows you understand it might be intentionally meaningless. Or this. How long do you think this one will last? What do you think comes next? This positions you as curious about culture, not critical of it. Kids, try this. I know the 6'7" thing is everywhere right now. Does it drive you crazy, or do you think it's kind of funny? This acknowledges your parents' experience while sharing yours. Look, 6'7" is the kind of cultural moment that seems ridiculous on the surface. And it is ridiculous, that's the entire point. But underneath that absurdity is something that actually matters. Gen Alpha figuring out how to create connection in a fragmented digital world. They're using meaninglessness to create meaning. They're turning chaos into community. And whether you're the parent trying to understand or the kid participating in it, what matters most is recognizing that we're all just trying to belong to something. If this helped you bridge that gap even a little bit, hit subscribe. We're breaking down the cultural moments that define how Gen Alpha connects, and there's a lot more to explore. Until then, maybe try asking your kid about their favorite 6'7" moment. You might be surprised by how thoughtful their answer is.